Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Anime Girls fan stream. I am your host, Reina,
I'm a girl.
and I guess Fat Stevens a girl for today.
Wait, he's not even wearing a wig in that anime avatar. There we
There we
go.
go.
Oh,
That's
I'm very
better.
confused by all of what's happening on
I
Fat Stevens.
it's
Less confused, but still
Much
confused.
better. Much better.
It's
I
getting
appreciate
worse now.
I appreciate the effort. Okay, that's worse. Good
Yeah.
Lord, it actually looks like a turkey leg.
it does, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Oh my
God
gosh.
almighty.
So glad to see you ladies and Fat Steven, gathered up all here. Oh God. You know who would get a good laugh out of that? I'm glad he did that. You know what? JJ would have got a good laugh out of that.
Yeah.
I just, for folks who know or for folks who don't know, a member of our community, JJ, aka Sis Lord, unfortunately, he passed away very, very recently. I found out about it yesterday, as I'm sure most of you on the panel did. And he was just one of those people who was just so genuine and real with you, and just one of those people who was just always, in your corner, rooting for you. And it's been so touching today how many people have gone back to the video where I did an interview with JJ, and you guys are just leaving like some of the best, most wonderful, heartfelt comments. So I just wanted to start, start that out today for folks who don't know, and just keep JJ's family in your thoughts and prayers, and just be genuine with folks.
Yeah. Yeah, uh it makes you think, when stuff like this happens. And I would just encourage everybody to remember that we're going into the holiday season, and a lot of you can get caught up in a lot of the busy, hectic, I got a million things to do stuff. But I would just encourage everyone to remember what the point is, and that you have such a finite amount of time on earth, and it is a gift and a blessing, and to remember what's truly important. So call those people that you don't talk to as often as you'd like, or text them, or just say the thing you don't remember to say as often as you should say it. And remember to make what is truly important, or you will kick yourself in the butt later. Trust me.
Absolutely. So, folks, first of all, we're just glad all of you are here, just gathering together, having a good time. We are having some great anime discussion. Mary picked the one this time,
This is mine.
which was Death Note. But before I get into that, first of all, let me welcome some of you folks pouring in the chat. Let me you guys poured in here so far. Thank you so very much. We have Snortapoopus, a channel member who's here. Good to see you.
I love that big old polar bear nose.
Isn't it cute?
It's adorable. It's like I just want to boop it.
Boop. It always makes me smile when I see it, Snortapoopus is awesome, and I love his ABI. And here's your Muslim uncle, says fourth, and he's laughing. Good to see you. Good to see you. And hope Sufi mom is doing good as well. And we have Shum, who says, okay, time for some anime discussing. Yes, we do. We do, especially this one that Mary picked this time.
It's heavy, man. Definitely it's heavy.
It is. And I'll tell you, if you're a fan of true crime, this is like taking a shot to the brain, literally. You're just like, oh my God. It's like I can't move. I have to find out what happens.
This works on so many levels.
It so does. And Release the McCracken, I see you there. Got the good vibes. Moji, good to see you. And Joseph Wemp says, hey, how are you? Well, Joseph, we are doing fine, hanging out with all you fine folks. And Wookiee Supremacy, hello, my dears, is playing my song over here. Had to click. Yes. Yes, it's crazy just how deep I'm like into anime now. It's just amazing. And Biggerford Entertainment is here. Hey Enzo, good to see you. Good to see you. Enzo is actually going to be on my channel again Thursday because we're talking not only well, don't cry too hard, Fat Steven. Don't
Sure.
cry too hard
Come on, I
because
just got my computer built. I don't want to get syphilis. What is this crap? I'm out of here.
no, but I have happy news for you. Of course, Thursday. Not only are we talking about the third episode of Hawkeye, but we actually have the actor who was the head of the Tracksuit Mafia. So Carlos
yes.
Navarro is going to be on our channel. Yeah.
Hey, how are you liking it so far? Like, just a snap judgment.
What an answer, Fat Steven.
How would I put it? It's like, to me, it's like a really weird dream. Like, I love Steve Rogers the musical for all the
Oh
wrong
my
freaking
gosh.
reasons. Oh my god. Man, it's
I could do this all day.
no, yeah, Tony
Hawkeye
was like,
came out. Oh,
I love anything that revels in cringe. I love anything that revels in cringe.
it was perfect because you had like the Hulk, okay, I guess playing the Hulk with the bad spray green tan job and had a hoodie on instead, and you have like Thor and you have like Tony Stark supposedly, gliding, but of course he's on wires and stuff like that. It's so cheesy. Even Ant-Man, who wasn't even freaking there, he's in the musical. It's so bad that I'm just having fun picking it apart. So I like that. And of course, like the Tracksuit Mafia, because they're just so over the top. It's hilarious. But I'm trying to figure out who Hans Gruber is because the show has such a diehard vibe to it. So it's for those particular reasons. I'm not looking for any serious character development in this because you can't take this seriously.
I'm lost. I didn't know Hawkeye came out, and I didn't know
He
it has
did?
a Captain
Oh.
America. And
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah.
So behind, I was like, I'm just sitting here like, boy.
Oh. You're not missing anything, but I will say, definitely check out that snippet with Steve Rogers, the musical. You'll be glad you did in a hilarious way.
Nice. Okay. All right. If I get something stuck in my head, Lorraine, I'm blaming you.
Oh, it's okay. I can do this all day.
It's so cringe, but it knows it's cringe, and so I revel in it. I love that.
Self-aware cringe. If done right, self-aware cringe is better than just normal cringe.
So self-aware to the point where Hawkeye has his hearing aid turned down.
He turns his hearing aid off.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was here for that.
Hey, Dennis Kachakis says, hey, Lorena, Fat, Mary, and Eris. Death Note is proof Netflix can't adapt anime. It's great on its own. R.I.P. JJ. I have been warned about that. Well, first of all, after suffering through 3 episodes of the live action version of Cowboy Bebop, I will never watch another live action.
Wait,
you actually watched so that crap?
Which one?
The Cowboy Bebop? Cowboy Crap Top? Yeah.
I had, you know what? I had to.
I would be offended is not a good enough word to describe how I felt when I watched the live action Death Note. I was like, that's not Light, that's not Misa, that's not L, and that's only kind of Ryuk.
So, how dare you? William Dafoe is peak Ryuk, and that's the only good thing about
I'm talking about the writing. I'm talking about the writing. Okay. Willem Dafoe's portrayal, he can only work with what he's given, right? And so, but the difference, I'll get into it like just briefly, the difference between live action anime Ryuk and anime Ryuk is that Ryuk was just an observer. Ryuk didn't want anyone to die per se. He was just there for some good old fashioned mind-numbing entertainment. That's why he was there.
And some apples.
Right.
And apples.
Give him an apple.
I think Christopher Walken would have been a better Ryuk, I think.
I disagree. I disagree completely. No offense.
Fat Boy Slim's weapon of choice, dancing, but as Ryu. Just picture that. Go Broadway style. Think about it.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll have to disagree. This is one of my favorite animes, if not my favorite anime. And I'll stick a lot of my cred on Death Note. And Willem Dafoe is a perfect person to portray Ryuk if Ryuk is written correctly, but he wasn't written correctly. So these people fundamentally misunderstood Death Note.
I like I said, after being subjecting myself to those 3 episodes of Cowboy Bebop, they can't do live action anime. I just no, I do not, especially this anime. I don't want to see live action. Don't.
It's bad. They made Light, dude. They made Light in the live action one. He's a fucking joke. He's not a serious character. They completely soyed him up. He doesn't have a sign. He's not serious.
He's also kind of stupid.
He's a stupid idiot. You know how it made him, he's incredibly intelligent. He's incredibly like cunning and like sociopathic, if not, he's a joke. He's a he's the comedic relief. I'm not kidding.
I can't deal with that, because that's what makes this work. Because like I was saying earlier about true crime, the criminal mind fascinates me, and the ones that are like the sociopaths, they're the ones who are the most dangerous. They're not.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna devil's advocate. After you get through this, I don't think that Light was a sociopath. I mean, I do think he was a sociopath, but I also think he was a very self-aware sociopath. And so
high functioning. That's what you're talking about. Yes,
he's what?
High functioning sociopath.
A high functioning sociopath, because Light said multiple times in the anime, he was like, "Look, I'm becoming a martyr for the cause of justice. I'm giving up my own humanity in order." And while he was doing it to become a god, which is a sociopathic aspect of this, he was also aware that he was giving up his humanity, because regular Light without the Death Note, Light, not Kira, and I make a distinction between the two, because Light and Kira are 2 different people, right? That's evidenced by how he behaves when he loses the Death Note in the series, and he's running around. Basically, he's like, "I'm not Kira," and he's really not. And he treats Misa different. He's a different person with the introduction of the Death Note, right? Well, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to say quickly, it could also fall under the trope that with absolute power, it will corrupt, even if it's for the better good of a person's ideals. Eventually, power will corrupt you. It's like it's that thing. The more you try to fight the thing that's coming at you, the hardest thing to do is not become the thing you're trying to fight against.
And there's an actual there's something I'm going to bring up when we start discussing this.
I didn't mean to drag us into the conversation.
It's so hard, because seeing just like when he was introduced, I'm just like, oh, I'm fascinated. Okay, I'm just like this criminal mind fascinates me. But just how aware. He is, but we're going to get that level later. Hey, Nick McCabe says, hello, everyone. Good to see you. I see that wave and that koala. Nick, I happened to run into another freaking bin chicken who was trying to get into the mailbox where I lived at. Freaking birds. Sam McCabe. There's Sam says, hey, everybody. Hope you are well. Doing very good, my dear. Very good. Glad you guys are here. Kaylee D says, hey, good to see you, my dear. Thank you so very much. Love seeing you in chat. She's so awesome. She's so awesome. Let's see. Ryuk is my absolute favorite. I can see that. I can see that. He's it's interesting how he was introduced. Let's see who else we have. I think I got everybody. Yes, please do smash that like button and share the stream out. There are 21 of you folks in here watching, and we so do appreciate it. Please do hit that like button and share out the stream. And let's see, we have Stunning and Brave Megatron says, hey there, Lorena Blade. For those folks who didn't see my Twitter, Stunning and Brave Megatron is working on a drawing as me as Windblade from the Transformers. I can't freaking wait.
Nice.
I cannot wait.
Nice.
It looks so cool.
I'm interested. Nice.
It looks so cool. And there's Prismatics. He says, hello, Lorena, Era, Stevie. Fez mayhem and channel.
What the actual fuck?
Dramatic.
I blame you, Eris. This is your fucking fault.
Hey,
Mary Fezham? Oh.
Mary Fezham.
Hey, Sherry, good to see you, my dear. Good to
I'll take
see
credit
you.
for
And
that.
thank you,
Crazy.
Darius Munchausen, for that $1.49 super sticker. Let's see, is it thumbs up or is it popcorn? It's popcorn. Thank you so very much. And yes, get your popcorn ready because it is going to be a very, very, very interesting stream. Let's see. And I'm trying to make sure I get everybody. Clearly earlier, I forgot to say roll tide. You're gonna have to apologize. I'm gonna have to apologize.
Roll
for
Tide.
that. Roll tide. You know what? I was at Disney. And as soon as somebody says roll tide, it's like a cascade effect.
Yeah.
And I flip and love it.
When you get around other rednecks, just roll Tide.
When you start hearing that banjo, yeah, it just
it's the SEC. You got to represent really hard. If you don't, people look at you like you're funny. Hey, the Austinator, good to see you. Good to see you. And yes, Death Note is really, really, really good. So we are going to get into discussion of that. And thank you so much, Kaylee, dropping the links to everybody. I surely appreciate that. Thank you so much, my dear. So yes, Death Note, because for you people can have a reference for what we are talking about, because you do not want to make the mistake and watch the live action like I almost did, but I'm like, no, not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. No. So this is Death Note. So Mary, since you picked this out, why did you pick it out? And kind of give us a background on the
So I love that this is one of those animes that really dives into a really sort of philosophical discussion about justice and what is justice, right? And it comes out. And the wonderful thing about Death Note is it doesn't hand you the answers. It doesn't tell you what to think. It doesn't tell you what side to fall on. It's very ambiguous in that regard. And so to kind of give everybody a sort of baseline to work from with the series, the discussion is it floats around what it means, what justice means, what is justice, right? And so our main character, we have two main characters really, but our main character, protagonist or antagonist, depending on what perspective you look at this from, is Light Yagami, who gets this sort of celestial item, if you will. It's a death note, and the death note is the property of a death god. A shinigami is what they're called in the series, and this particular shinigami goes by the name of Ryuk. He drops his death note down to earth, and a human, Light Yagami, picks it up. Now the kicker with the death note is if you write someone's name within the death note, that person will die. If you decide to specify how they die, they'll die in that way, as long as it's physically possible for that person to die in that way. If you don't specify the way that they die, they just die of a heart attack. And things go on. Well, Light picks it up and he decides to take on the mantle of God of the world, to dispensing justice where he sees fit, right? No judge, no jury, no trial, just you. And as the internet comes to call him, Kira. And that Kira personality is important to distinguish from Light, because once he picks up the death note and the personality of Kira takes over, Kira is the god of the new world, the god of death in this world. And so he begins to dispense out this justice. Well, it doesn't take long for authorities to figure out this isn't natural and normal. All these criminals are dying, and they're dying without judge, jury, and trial. And that's not right as far as they're concerned. So they bring in this investigator, L, he is the name he goes by. And that's the name we know him as. And he proceeds to pursue Light. And this goes back and forth between these two throughout the course of the series. And then you discover along the way, these wonderful techniques that they both have. It's a wonderful game of cat and mouse. And the cat and mouse tends to go both ways, because Light is trying to figure out what L's real name is so he can kill him, so that he can be free of being pursued. And L is trying to figure out exactly who Kira is, so that he can throw him in jail and bring him justice, right? And it's, again, the answers aren't handed to you. This just really boils down to whether or not you ascribe to the ideology of better that 10 guilty men go free than one innocent man suffer, or vice versa. So that's the premise. And there is this big argument among fans of the series whether or not what L did or what Light did was wrong or right. And so you'll say Light was wrong or Light was right. And so the kicker is that crime reduces by 70%. While Kira is in business, while he's doing what he's doing. And so there is no question that there's definitely a reduction in crime. There are, however, definitely innocent people being prosecuted and dying for this. So that's the kicker.
And Misa Man is hot. I'm gonna lay that right now. She's hot.
Misa can go fucking die. God,
no, she can't. No, I don't care. I don't care.
This chick,
crazy.
This will probably break some of you guys' hearts, but parts of my life really did mirror hers in a way. But I'll get to that a little. I'll get to that. At least I'm aware of that. But I will say,
cray, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
If I go cray, there's a good reason, and I'm justified. Right. But the thing that hooked me into this, when you see Light, and he pretty much just looks like that chick. We're getting to why models are crazy. Well, I shouldn't say all of it.
Misa's nuts
that I knew,
but I love her.
Yeah, she's like my favorite. I would say like some of the crazy reality show train wreck chicks. I love them, even though they're bat blank crazy. But anyway, getting hooked into this show, you see Light, and he's he seems disaffected. It's just like you hear these crime statistics that are going on, and you see all of that, and you see just how he's just like, it just gets worse. It's just like the same thing every day. And then you hear them talking about, this particular crime happened, that particular crime happened. So by the time he picks up, the Death Note and finds out what it does, that immediately starts to set up that, I want to say like that conflict, so to speak. It's like, if you could, or if you think in your mind that you could eradicate crime, would you do it in that particular way? And the reason why I like this is because this anime mirrors a certain show that I was hooked on from the beginning, and that show is Dexter.
Oh my God, you said the thing I was gonna say. Yeah. I'm right in the middle of that shit.
When you see him like in the pilot, when he's in the courtroom, and that guy who killed, I think, the lady's son, he gets off on a technicality. And the way that he found him and stalked him and then knocked his ass out and then dragged him to the kill room, and you look in the kill room and he's got the pictures of his victim all around him. It sets it up almost like the same. I'm glad I'm not the only other person.
I'm in 7, and I was like, holy shit! I forgot. I hadn't watched it. This is my first time watching Dexter, and so when I've
never seen it.
If you like this show, Mary, you're gonna love Dexter.
You are going to love.
Yeah. Stop at 5 though. Supposedly.
Yeah. Stop at 5. Stop at season 5.
I'm at 7.
I wanted to add something also when it comes to this. This is also a trope that sometimes we forget with this series, is that we have two individuals. One's celestial, which is pretty much a Shinigami, and then we have a human being. Both meet on the pretense of boredom. One is bored in the afterlife. Bored. That's why he threw the book down, isn't it? That's why Ryuk threw the book down. And Yagami is pretty much bored. So in a way, this kind of feeds both of their boredoms, and they create this weird relationship that's beyond friendship at the same time.
I'm really glad that you brought that up, because this is sort of I suppose a Christian perspective to bring to it, but idle hands are the work of the devil, right?
I love that movie.
So it's a really interesting notion that because light is this insanely intelligent student, right? Like he's all of the things that if you could sit there and put yourself or hi Nim, if you could sit there and put forward the guy, right? This the valedictorian, the head of the class. This is Yale, right? Like this is Light. Light is the cream of the crop. He is the smart, and yet with all of that intelligence, he is bored. It's all so trivial for him, and so when he discovers this power, right? Light is what by all perspective, by all accounts, he is this really great stand-up, straight-laced kid. He's not looking for trouble, but he is bored. And the minute that you remove his identity from the equation, something that Light says in it, he's like, people when they can be anonymous, when they can do something anonymously, they think and they do and say what they really feel. Like people, when you remove accountability from the equation, people will do whatever the hell they want to do.
Well, it falls under that trope like we've talked about before. It's the question of if you had a superpower, what would you choose, invisibility or flight? And people choose invisibility most of the time because they can get away with murder. It's the same thing. You can remove your identity.
Right. Yeah. And that's the premise of, I want to say, I think I heard this a while back, the premise of the Invisible Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was just a horn dog.
Anyway, just to be able to do what you want, and no one can
stop you.
Exactly. But we can definitely see Mike, Mexican Iron Man. Thank you so much for that generous $20 super chat and for being a channel member. Thank you so much. Gracias, my dear. It says, howdy, Stephen. Howdy, Eris. Howdy to the lovely Lorena. And howdy to our beloved Mary.
I don't get an adjective
so much.
What the hell's my hey lovely? What the hell?
Yeah. Mike.
You got to be around a little longer, Eris. All right.
Hey, Lorena, blow me up real quick. Lorena, gotta blow me up real quick.
I gotta blow you up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Mike, where the hell's my alimony, brother?
Oh, wow. I told you to wrap your snapper before you tapped her,
I told you,
Mike.
Lupita wants her alimony, man.
Oh my God.
Oh, Lupita.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Hello, Betty. Imagine you got Yagami and Ryu going after Florida Man. Elle would stop him.
Nah.
I think Ryuk is the Florida man of the afterlife. What are you talking about?
That is true.
Yeah, I can
This book that can kill everybody. Just do something with it. I'm gonna go play this gator.
Totally see that. And we have Broder who says greetings from Amsterdam. Wow, a big L and Light fan and a near hater.
What's a near hater?
Okay, so I don't like. Okay, so N and M are late series characters.
Big L and
Ellen Light fan and a near hater. I don't like the N and M stuff at the end. As far as I'm concerned, the whole series could have ended at episode 25.
Yes,
and I won't get into spoilers of all of what that means because I know that Lorena really only went through like the sort of L chunk of the series, which is what I would have encouraged because I don't like near either. I think all of that could have been completely left out and it just got dull and overplayed at that point. And so like I've seen the whole series, but I'm one of those people who advocates that it really should have ended at episode 25.
That's kind of how I feel like Dexter should have ended, probably season 4.
I did have a question though.
Yeah.
What if the roles were flipped and Light and L were on the opposite sides? What if L found the book and Ryu?
So we're led to believe that this could be anyone. This could be you, right? Like that if you were the one that picked up the Death Note, and that you could be corrupted by it. Not that the Death Note is like corrupting because it's evil and an inherently but because people who get power become corrupt. Anytime a person rises to that status, ultimate power corrupts ultimately, or absolute power corrupts absolutely. That really it could do it to anybody, because we see how Light acts when he not loses the death note, but when he relinquishes control of it. Right? It's this big ordeal. Light gets caught. Elle thinks he has the guy, but he can't prove it yet. And so he's like, fine, I'll prove it's not me. I'll put the death notes, I'll go into containment for a long period of time, and we'll see what happens. And before he goes, though, he does this really big setup where he hides the death note, and then he has Ryuk go and give the death note to like these criminal mafia lords. And so he relinquishes it, and he loses all memory of it and everything he did. And so Light actually thinks he's innocent. And one of the reasons why Misa is such an important character to this series is because how he treats Misa is a night and day difference when you see him affected by the death note as to not affected. When he's not affected by the death note, he treats her like a lady. I would never mistreat her. I don't really care for her that way, so I'm not going to go and give her the wrong impression. She's like, hey, come to bed with me, Light. And he's like, no, I can't do that. I don't want to hurt her.
Do that? You're supposed to be my boyfriend.
Let's take it from how I met.
I mean, nuts.
But if you take it from like how I Met Your Mother and the Crazy Scale episode where you got Doogie Howser going from one to the other, Misa is what that scale was made from. Pretty much.
Yeah, the hotter they get,
the crazy hot.
The crazy hot.
Yeah. She killed people to get a date. For God's sake,
she was definitely in the danger zone for real.
That is nightmare bitch. Okay, that's the one you never ever want to date ever. I have known women like that before. It is hell on earth.
It's like that.
So like Misa's a fruitcake, but she's not. She has her reasons for being obsessed with Kira, right? Yeah, and she loves Kira because he saved her life. You know, like, I'm sorry, he didn't save her life, but he got her justice for her parents' death, right? Like her parents' murderer he went free on a technicality. Yeah. And that destroyed her internally. And so when Kira kills him, it's the only justice that she got. And it's a great example of why Light believes what he is doing is right. Okay. And it's why she's obsessed with Kira. She's happy to allow herself to be manipulated and used by Kira. She's not stupid. Misa's not stupid. She's not that smart, but she's not stupid. And so she's smart enough to pull off quite a few things that you wouldn't have believed her capable, because she's this little blonde ditz, right? But she pulls some pretty impressive thinking off, but she's also perfectly willing to allow herself to be used by Kira because she thinks it's right.
But that also falls into the admiration of her, of the owner of her death note and her Ryuk in a way, because that has a love dynamic right there. And that's why there's a respect. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, she has her own death note. She has her own Shinigami, but there's a different type of dynamic than Ryuk and Light.
Well, that's because Rim is in love with Misa. Yeah. Rim falls in love with Rim is her Shinigami, for those who are just kind of catching up. So there's two Shinigami that we meet throughout this series. There's Ryuk, who follows around Light and is rather uninvested. He's not invested in what's happening. For him, it's like watching a TV show, right? And he's not uninvested. He's invested, but he doesn't see himself as an effector of outcome, right?
He's just there for the ride.
He's just there for the ride. Rim, however, is deeply emotionally invested because she is in love with Misa, and she will literally break all of the rules for Misa.
Can I just tell you that one of the parts of this anime that got me was when she talked about how to kill a Shinigami.
Yep.
When she recounted that story, you could tell in her voice. It wasn't she was just telling a story just to tell it. She was telling it to make a point. And just hearing that, that just really got to me, because I'm just like, she's super invested, especially when she tells Light, I will kill you.
She can rock it out
I'm
too,
like,
though. I'm sorry.
oh,
She
yeah.
can rock it. She can rock it out. If she was at Hot Topic, I'd be buying out Hot Topic. I'm sorry. If she was, she
I
can rock
loved
it.
how she was. Can I also talk about another thing that I
Even
loved
the
about
straight
this?
jacket.
I
Damn.
loved just the art style
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
this. I
Yes.
really, it fit perfectly.
Mhm.
It fit perfectly, and even how Rin was drawn, I just loved it.
It was a very dark, gritty. It is a very dark, gritty series, and it doesn't shy away from the shocking displays that are in it. Now it's not gory or grotesque. It's not gory for the sake of gore, but this particular art goes about making its point visually, and it never shies away from it, even in the slightest. And so there are. I mean, I'm not a fan of gore, so there are moments where I go, oh, and I sort of cringe a little bit because I'm not the type of girl, and that should speak to the potency of this series. The fact that I will sit there through some very visually uncomfortable scenes for myself personally and still be so attached to it, to still feel such devotion to this series myself. And knowing that I'm going to have to watch it again, I'll witness certain things that make me visually uncomfortable, speaks to me to just how really amazing this series is, because it's a very thought-provoking series. I used to have arguments. Lethal Lightning. We used to argue Light did nothing wrong. I was like, yes, he did. we would fight about that.
Can we point one thing out, though? That Light is literally the son of the chief of police, and the chief of police. How did he get to the chief of police and didn't realize?
That
nothing?
tripped me out when that was
thing with
revealed. I'm
Dexter.
like, oh, they went there.
Same thing with Dexter. I mean,
yeah,
all his friends and shit. Sister, yeah.
The one dude who was on to him, and the only reason he didn't find him out is because he wound up blowing himself up.
Yeah, like seriously, like it is a common theme with these kind of shows. Is like, and it actually speaks to just the human experience. And if you've ever watched any like interviews about people who have been caught doing some really fucked up shit, like people who've hid people in their basement, people who have mass murder serial killers and stuff, more often than not, like with the Ted Bundy experience, for instance, they're just like, no, it could never be that person. Like the closest people around them, the one who've been interacting with them the most, they're like, that could never be them. Never. That, like, they're just so sweet and nice. They're sweet and nice to me, and they treat me well. So there's no way they could go out and murder someone. And it's just like, I mean,
never trust a butterfly.
Yeah.
I'd be interested. So again, and it's very important to keep in mind that whatever people take from Death Note, whether or not Light was wrong or Light was right, or whether or not L was justice or Light was justice, there's no right answer here, right? There's just your answer, because it all boils down to your perspective. But I am wildly curious, because I just want to hear it out of you, Lorena. What do you think? Was L right or wrong? With the objective facts on the table, that crime was reduced by 70%, right? That's a fact. Crime was reduced by 70%, but innocent people got killed. So what do you think?
And that's my kind of thing. It's like, yes, I believe that he was wrong because he took the law into his own hands. However, you understand why. Let's put it this way. Like some of my relatives who basically would say, back in the day when they heard that, somebody violated one of their relatives and the courts did nothing. Their whole thing was, okay, don't let me meet up with this guy in the dark.
Because I'll beat his ass.
They would beat it. Next, they disappear. Nobody said a word. Why? Because they're like, you know what? He's gone and he's off the street. Although this person decided to be judge, jury, and executioner. No one's gonna trash him for it. It's just like, that was wrong what you did, but
I understand why, but that's there's a distinction to be made there, and the nuance there is very important. When someone is emotionally invested in the justice for someone that they love, you can understand, right? You can understand why it is that they might take that into their own hands. But this isn't an emotional investment for Light. Light didn't do this because someone he loved got harmed. Light got harmed. He did this because there were two reasons. He wanted to be the god of this world. He wanted it to be what he accomplished. He was the one responsible. And he thought, I'm the one who can do it. I'm the only one who is smart enough, who's good enough to do this. And so it was both an ego trip and a willingness to become a martyr to it. Because he has this conversation with Ryuk. He's like, and when I'm done, the world will be full of good people. And Ryuk's like, yeah, there will be only one bad person left. You. Yep. You'll be the only bad person left. And he was right. But Light wasn't willing to accept that. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm a hardworking student, blah, blah, blah. You know? And so for Light, it was both an ego trip and a willingness to lose his soul to it. And so I do, of course, agree with you, Lorena, that Light was wrong. But that's because I ascribe to the notion, what was it? Benjamin Franklin, who said that, it's better than 100. It's better than, was it 100 people? I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was Benjamin Franklin who said that it was like more tolerable that 100 guilty people, or it's better that 100 guilty persons go free or escape than one innocent person should suffer. Right?
Exactly.
But in like the east side of the world, they have a completely different perspective, right? Like in like communist governments and like China and Cambodia, they ascribe to Otto von Bismarck, who believed that it was better that 10 innocent men suffer than one guilty man escape, right? And so it just boils down to your ideology. What do you think is more important? And people in the West tend to believe it's better that guilty people should go free than an innocent person suffer. And people again, this is a generalization, so don't fry me and string me up in the chat over this, but generally in the East, they tend to ascribe to the exact opposite perspective. And the show never says which is right and which is wrong. It just boils down to an ideology.
No, they just lay it out. And again, with that classic cat and mouse game that's going on between like L and Light, it's like they just pretty much put it out there. And this is why, one of the reasons why I love this anime, they let you take from it what you will.
Yeah.
How
I
you
think that's
see
the
it.
best.
It doesn't dictate to you and tell you, Light's completely right or L's completely right. They just write the story and let you see that. And that's the best form of entertainment that you can put out there. Again, it's like I make the same parallels with Dexter. It doesn't tell you that, you shouldn't be rooting for the serial killer, but there's people who do, because they're just like, he's taking these people out, but it's not telling you that it's wrong. They're just writing a story and let you see the people who are trying to track this guy down.
It's real, but we also see that it's also about self-preservation for Light, right? Like I always argue with people who argue for Light, because Light's a very dynamic character. He's got a lot of facets. He kills innocent people in order to protect his identity. When a task force is sent to follow him, again, keep in mind, these are police officers. They're not criminals. These aren't criminals. Do what?
You're forgetting also the FBI agent and how it
triggers. FBI agent, exactly.
Oh, I'll get to that in a minute. Y'all go ahead.
He kills these men, not because they did anything wrong, but because they are a personal threat to him, right? They will take him down. If they discover who he is and they can put him in jail, they will kill him. They will absolutely put him on trial for the murder of all these people because he's not sanctioned. Light wasn't granted authority does that mean? I'm fried.
Oh, you say don't fry me in the chat.
Oh, I forgot.
What
What are you talking about? I'm not the pot smoker.
Oh my god.
The 100 guilty go free was Blackstone's formulation, I believe. So I'm pretty sure that it was Benjamin Franklin who said that it was better that 100 guilty
All right, let's look it up.
men.
I heard something
Quote.
similar to that with
Yeah,
respect to how
Benjamin
our
Frank-
justice system
yeah,
is set up.
better than 100 guilty persons escape like
It's
that
called-
than one.
Yeah, so Wikipedia, it says
Oh,
when black
no.
I know, horrifying. So
Hey,
Benjamin
Steve.
Franklin stated it as well. It's in what is it? The Blackstone's commentaries or Blackstone's ratio.
I thought Blackstone was 10 and Benjamin Franklin was 100. Was what I thought.
Yes, it says 10 guilty
Okay.
persons, and then he basically said the same thing, but he was
But he
making a
upped
more
it to
dramatic
100.
statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
Cool. Learn that
Blackstone ratio, I think is what it's called,
Oh,
right?
okay.
It's the
Education.
1 to 10, but Benjamin
Mhm.
Franklin upped it to 100 because that was
Yes.
how firmly he was convicted of that, right?
Right.
And so, but Light played out this scenario that he believed anyone in his position who was smart enough and capable enough would have played out. Like he gave himself a pass to kill innocent people because they were pursuing him, because he viewed himself as a god, even though no one elected him, no one sanctioned him, no one said he was okay to do this. No group of people came together and said, we bestow on you this power. He took it upon himself. Light is the definition of taking it upon yourself to be judge, jury, and executioner, right? He granted himself this power because he felt that he was worthy of it. And that's the problem here, is that one single perspective isn't enough. I don't care how smart you are. I don't even care whether or not you reduce crime by 70%. And that is worthy. Mary considers Franklin. I do. I don't care whether or not you are the smartest guy in the room always. I don't care if you're Albert Einstein. Your will has no right to be imposed over the will of others. You cannot select that's called a dictator. Selecting yourself to govern, yourself to make the choices with no one else's input when what you choose impacts their lives is to me, again, this is my perspective, that is absolutely categorically wrong. Just period.
There's one that oh my gosh. Misa. Don't look. Don't
Already
Look at
It's
it.
too late.
Look
Shield
at
your
it.
eyes. Shield your eyes.
She became more annoying somehow. I don't know what happened.
I'm sorry. What was that? What was that?
Oh my gosh.
Don't play.
There was one of the again, when you're talking about Light, killing innocent people.
Mhm.
What happened with Ray Pember's fiance?
Yep.
That was a level of diabolical where it's just like, did he really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
did.
not only did he kill Ray,
Mhm.
after he did everything
Then
that
he
he
toyed
wanted
with her and murdered her.
totally played with her. And I was just like, please tell me she will stay one step ahead of this guy.
No,
Please say she'll stay. And then when she asked, what's your name? Who are you? And he's like, I'm Kira. And just her face and the animation on her face.
Traumatizing.
It's just oh my God, I got fooled. I was like, he freaking went there.
Mm-hmm.
It just that did something to me with how I observed Light. And I like the writing, how they did that, because it's just like, this is just how far.
But he enjoyed it.
Go.
He enjoyed
Totally enjoyed it. How he drew that out, how he played her, how he talked to her. Things that he was saying in his mind. Okay, I need to gain her trust. Okay, can I do this? No, I can't do this. No, I need to do that. No, I have to get to her before she gets to the police
3
station.
minutes. I got it done.
3, yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It was, but with light, the ends justify the means.
Yes.
With light, that is absolutely Light's whole perspective is the ends justify the means. And look, you can totally critique L, right? And I think it's important that you understand the opposing argument. You know, whenever you engage in a discussion like this. Oh, he played with her, like he was pretending to help her, and then he fucking killed her, and so it was awful. It was absolutely awful what he did to her, to Ray's fiance. But with L, for L, this was all an ego stroke too. This was all an ego stroke for L. L was batshit crazy, insanely intelligent, right? And every bit the match of Light. And nevertheless, and I don't want to give away any spoilers for people who haven't seen the series, so I won't say how it ends, right? But it was absolutely an ego stroke for L. These two men were insanely similar. And I'm always left with the impression that if L had been the one to find the notebook, he'd have been just like Light. He would have been exactly like Light. He'd have done the same damn thing.
Because think of the temptation of it. Okay, you see every day people get away with murder. People get away with all of these crimes. Hurt you. And as much as the police try to do things to prevent it, crap just keeps happening. And then you all of a sudden have the power to be judge, jury, and executioner. Although the death note, this is what cracks me up. It seems like with every episode, it's like there seems to be some kind of addendum to the way that the death note works.
I will say this about Light. Why is Light such an impressive character? Because if you sat down and you were honest with yourself, okay, and this is as honest as I can be right here. This is as transparent a person as I know how to be. And I'm sorry that this is going to be an uncomfortable thing, what I'm about to say. But let's be honest. If you sat down and you were given the power of the death note, like Light was, you would do what almost anyone would do. You would think about the people who have hurt you, and you would remove them from the scenario. You would remove them from the situation. You would simply take them out of the game, right? And that revenge, because if no one knew, if you had complete anonymity and no one could hold you accountable or responsible for it, you will never convince me that most people wouldn't do that. Most people are just not good enough to avoid that type of temptation. But that is what Light did, but that's not all Light did. What Light did truly was an overarching, he was trying to benefit humanity. He viewed himself as a god, and that was an ego stroke, but he was able to do something that most people wouldn't be able to do, which is pass judgment impartially. You did a bad thing, you die, period. That's it. He wasn't emotionally invested.
Not always. See,
not
that's
always.
The thing. That's the thing, though, right? So it's like with me, I'm like, okay, I get it, right? Like, I love me a good revenge story. You know, Count of Monte Cristo is my favorite book. Like,
oh God, yes, that is perfect.
Like, dude, I love revenge stories. Batman's like my favorite comic book character. But the difference between all of those characters and Light is Light did not witness them doing the bad thing. Same thing.
Oh no, he didn't need to.
But why does he? Because somebody found him guilty, right? How many times have you heard somebody, they were in prison for like 50 years, and then new DNA evidence came to light or something came to light, and now
Light didn't care. Light didn't care. He worked from the ideology that it was better that 10 innocent men go suffer and get killed than one guilty man go free, right? Yeah. That's Light's ideology. His perspective is that it is better to drop 70% in crime levels and some innocent people suffer, and he didn't care. That's why I say he was impartial. Like, and that is why I say it is not something that I think a lot of people could do. Yes, absolutely, he used it to his own ends, but ultimately it all came back to protecting because Light didn't act this way without the death note.
He didn't have the ability to. It's not even. He's not. That's not a fair comparison. If he had the ability to do it before and chose not to, and then started to, that's different.
But that's not what I was gonna say. What I was saying was that when introduced, right, light didn't have a god complex without the Death Note. But when the Death Note becomes introduced, I mean, none that we can see. His morality shows that he's not willing to mistreat Misa without the Death Note. And then when the Death Note is introduced, this aspect of him comes to light, and he is able to do something. Again, the ends justify the means, but he is still able to do something that I think most people wouldn't do. Like, remember the mafia bosses? When they get a hold of it, it's all about, the only reason that they kill justice-wise is because it's the condition of keeping the Death Note, right? They're not interested in carrying out any measure of justice. For them, it is all about revenge, right? Getting people out of their way, removing obstacles, right? Most people, I think, wouldn't have been able to wield the Death Note as well, if that's what you want to call it, as Light did. For Light, the whole thing was, I want to make the world a better place. The whole motivation was making the world a paradise for innocent, free people, right? And people got behind him, because I don't believe most people could have done what Light did, right? Most people would have used it for personal gain, whereas everything that motivated Light. And again, this is not my argument. This is the argument of other people, which is why I say that it's really important to recognize that and know what you're arguing against. Light didn't do this because, I mean, yes, it was ego, but he didn't get anything out of it. In fact, his life was on the line because of it. Well, ultimately, he believed what he was doing was right.
Right. So let's actually talk about the first time he used it, because he was just like, does this really work?
Just testing it.
Yeah. Just testing it. But the situation that happened where he chose to use that, do you remember what happened and who he used it on?
It was that bully.
It was, yeah. It's like the guy he'd actually taken hostage, a daycare center.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there's no one or very few people who would think, yeah, I don't blame you for writing that guy in there. It's like he didn't take a hostage, just people aged at a bank. He took hostage innocence.
I do think that's where most people would start in terms of testing something. At least I would hope that would be where most people would start, is like looking for the person that there is without question, no doubt in your mind, this is a bad, horrible, terrible person that the world would be better off without right now, right? Like, I hope that's where most people would start with it, to test it. And I actually didn't have a problem with that, right? For me, it was
very human.
Yeah. I like to think most people would look at that and go, oh, good, I'm glad he's dead, right? Like, like most people would look at that situation and say, the world is better off without them in terms of testing it. But then it's where it goes after that. Light takes it to this place of no, you know what I mean? Like, nobody gets to judge except me. I'm the one who judges. I am judge, jury, and executioner in all matters. No one elected me. No group consciousness said I was the one to be put in charge. It's all me. And that's where that's Light's failure, in my opinion. Is that not that bad people died. For me, it's because you took it upon yourself to do it.
Marksman of 11-7B. Why do I keep thinking it's infantry when I see that? Don't forget a key point. The Death Note is proof of an afterlife, but its use damns your soul. What does that say about a person willing to make that choice?
I disagree with the notion that it damns your soul. That's actually quite the opposite of what Ryuk said. What Ryuk says is a person who uses the Death Note can neither go to heaven nor hell.
Purgatory,
so
basically.
It's purgatory. You are left in between. And so I actually understand why people would look at that consequence and say it's worth it.
Yeah, because you're not going to hell. So even if like you did something awful, right? Like assuming you're believing in religion at this point, you going to purgatory would actually be a net benefit.
Exactly. Like especially if you're like a person who knows that they've done some shitty stuff and will probably continue to do shitty stuff, and if you're capable of being that honest with yourself, this almost ensures no ramifications. It does absolutely ensure no real ramifications. And since the concept of eternity is very difficult for the human mind to grasp, I think that it's something that most people wouldn't give enough thought to, except that it's not that good and it's not that bad. It just is what it is, right? So
it's deep. It's very interesting. I do want to think in a way the Death Note corrupts whoever wields it. I think it's a curse. I was watching the Hobbit movies yesterday and the Arkenstone and shit. It's a curse, and it kind of, in a way, watching the show, it reminded me of the Death Note, how maybe Light always had the potential to become Kira, but it wasn't until he got the book that he achieved that potential. You know what I mean? Like, he could have easily become somebody that, I don't know, like a Dexter or something. Like, he didn't have that superpower, but he still, like, he really had that and of course his father being a police chief helped with this. It's like this ingrained characteristic of needing justice almost as much as like needing air or water. Like, justice must be served, right?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you that, because with Dexter, he had this, and he didn't know why when he was a kid, just like killing, birds and animals and stuff like that. And his adoptive father was just like, no, you can't do that. We need to find a way to channel that into something useful. And that's when he tells him, there's people who get away from the law, because his father was a cop, and they need to be dealt with. And it's like that gave him the outlet, like, to do that. So I think with Light, it's he's bored at the time. He doesn't know, but the Death Note showing up, it's like it gives him some kind of renewed purpose, something that he didn't have in the beginning, and it is like a superpower, to him.
Yeah,
I think that it takes as much as I respect that it takes a special person to handle the Death Note as well as Light did, I think it takes an even better person to refuse to handle it at all. Like, the person who has a Death Note sitting there in front of them, and if they know all the rules, because that was a great question that Nick asked, is like, if you knew all the rules beforehand, would you use it? I think most people still would. I think even knowing the rules ahead of the time, I think most people would say to themselves that it's worth it. If I could pull off being as good at it as Light was, because Light still reduced crime by 70%. There is an argument, a reasonable, well-reasoned argument, that what Light did was ultimately better for humanity. Fewer people died. A lot fewer people died because of what Light did. No, I've seen it. I should have put this up for you guys in the chat. Go watch Film Theories episode on the Death Note, and we're talking about countless people, lives being saved. Ultimately, when it all washes out, way few, not like a few million. We're talking about this massive number of people. Their lives were saved because of violent crime, because violent crime was reduced by 70%. All crime was reduced by 70%, but violent crime specifically impacts that. And so you have to take that into account when you're looking at this. Light benefited the world around him. There's a well-reasoned argument to say Light did nothing wrong. And I have to agree that ultimately Light positively impacted the world, but because I find the notion of taking justice into your own hands and being the sole arbiter of it repugnant, I can't endorse Light. because that's completely repugnant to me.
But there's also another situation we have to deal with here. As much as the crime was dropped and everything else, and in general, evil still becomes up again. It doesn't matter how many criminals or villains or evildoers you get rid of, whether you have the power or not. The human choice of whether or not you're going to commit a crime or commit acts of evil is always going to be there in the end of the run. 71% might be the thing for the time, but it's still going to come again.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah,
You can't wipe out the existence of evil, because evil is always there. It's the opposite, like yin and yang, or light and dark, moon and sun. It's always still going to be a present factor. So no matter how much an individual goes out of their way to do something for the better good, or because they think they're the only one who can, they're the only one who can for the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because at the beginning of the anime, he very specifically states, I want just good people to be around. Well, that's not what he's doing by killing all of the people. He's getting rid of criminals, which is not the same thing as getting rid of bad people. You can still exist in a world filled with bad people that don't commit crimes. Committing crimes is not the only form of being a bad person. That is a very strict legal way, black and white legal way of looking at whether a person is good or bad. Like, I have met some really shitty human beings in my life that have not committed a single crime that I'm aware of. And it's so you see, I'm not talking about you, Stephen.
Okay, good.
Damn it.
I was waiting for it.
So it's like, he could still have a bunch of shitty humans that are around, but by his very black and white, like I said, legal definition of what he thinks good and evil is, which is apparently breaking the law that flawed human beings have created. You know, what happens, for instance, here we go. What happens if the laws change, or there's different laws in different countries? And so, like, for instance, in the Middle East, a woman walks out without a head covering and she's sentenced to death. Or she's, put in jail for that. That's breaking the law. By their law, she is a criminal. But in America or Japan, that's not a law. That would be broken there. So what, like, the extent of it is, like, he basically set out for an impossible task that would only work if everyone was united under a single world government and had all the same laws applied in all the countries and all the values. Like, we basically unified as a species and came under one culture and everything. And that will never occur. So it's like, it is a physically impossible task. And L states it too. It's childish. It's very naive and childish what he's doing. And it is. It actually is. So... a stoning, yes. Thank you, Matt.
And I think that's a stoning, yeah.
Thank you.
One of the things that I thought about is just like, you have these criminals, and it's like, what about the percentage, of criminals who, okay, I got caught, I'm serving my time, that's my punishment, but somehow, because you feel this sense of justice, that should negate that. That's like something that I noticed with that. It's kind of like, yeah, it kind of seems, people probably say, yeah, criminals, they were convicted, they should die. But what about the people who, are there, who, I'm paying my sentence, that's what I'm doing. You're trying to say that I deserve death now, But most people in society is just like, hey, what? They're criminals. We don't want to deal with them. That's why we don't care that, that they're gone.
Yeah. Well, until they get caught with, I don't know, until the law changes, and for instance, say, I don't know, guns got illegalized. There's a lot of people that would be really fucked at the moment,
Yeah.
And they get thrown in jail. Like I said, if the law changes, and the laws do change with how the whatever country or how that society deems is important enough to, like, right now, this is even crazier. In the States right now, there are different states that have different laws involving the use of marijuana.
Hell yeah.
How would he in any way, shape, or form be able to look at that and be able to, like, have a uniform decision on that? Because now we're not looking at states and then, like, counties. and full countries, and it's just it gets a little. It's so shallow. It's such a shallow way of looking at how to fix the world, because there's not just one thing that could fix the world.
No.
Right.
No,
So
no.
if you want
And
to fix
not
the world,
all.
just take out every politician and you'd be good. Every lawyer, every politician, you know.
Oh,
Just go down that road.
people would spring back up.
You know, they got
I
their
don't know,
little
I don't know.
minions and their little lieutenants sitting there like,
Yeah.
yes, master, yes, what do you want us to do?
Oh God, yeah.
See, I think people in the West are far more equipped to have these kinds of discussions. Again, I'm not judging anybody who's from the East, right? But we were raised in a society. We were in a society. Go ahead and make your jokes, chat. Go ahead and make your jokes, chat. But we were raised in a society that told us that there was nuance here. Right.
Mm-hmm.
That there's more to this discussion than just whether or not the person did it, right? That whether or not someone is guilty is reliant on a number of factors, intent being one of them, and how we as an entire group of people can come together and discuss it and debate it, right? And that's why juries are such a big aspect of our culture.
Contradiction, Mary, though. We also, you're saying that the West might be able to do this, but we're not looking at also this. It also depends on the region, whether it's the West, East, North, South, whatever. It also depends how their lineage is, how their culture is, and how they respect the ability to have power, use power, and whether or not their whole history
again,
is
those
based
are
on that.
generalizations. I'm obviously making a generalization. Obviously,
How dare you make generalizations? God damn
Oh,
it. Real
God.
specifics here. Mary, we discussed this beforehand.
This not to cut you guys off, but this is actually a interesting question. I think we kind of touched on this earlier. Grumpy old ninja Kentaro Oi, I hope I said that right. Oi, I have a odd dark question. Lorena, Creole, panel, and chat. If you knew what the Death Note was beforehand, what or who would drive you to use it?
This is a hard thing to answer publicly because it removes.
Well, not who.
Oh, I got a few ideas, and I'm not getting into that. Let's start with the whole 20. No.
Well, because it's the appropriate answer. What society expects you to say is, "Oh, I'd never use it. No, that's wrong, right?" But if we're being real with ourselves and honest with ourselves, I think we all can pinpoint a specific instance, if not one, multiple, right? Instances in our life where something happened to either ourselves or someone we love, where we could say, yeah, I'd fucking kill him and I'd take eternity in purgatory for it. Because as people, we can't always separate ourselves from our emotions, and we can't always be strictly objective. And that's part of what makes humans so special and wonderful, is that we have logic and we have reasoning. But we're still
not all humans. Oh my God.
But we are still fallible people, and sometimes we act like animals. And so that's a hard answer. Like, I can think of at least 2 instances in my life. One of them I'll share because it's not something, I won't share exactly who, but there was a person who I was very close to when I was a young girl who was raped, and she was raped by a family member of mine. And he never went to jail for it. Nothing happened to him. And the argument was because she was a little girl and he was older than her, but he was young when it started, but it went on for 10 years. And he was 16 or 17. He was 16 or 17 when it ended. He was 16 or 17 when it ended, when it was finally brought out and we all found out what was going on. And it had a cascading effect, a trickle effect. It trickled through our entire family. It was awful and terrible. And if I were being honest, if I had a death note, I would kill him, and I would accept whatever purgatory that meant for me because of the pain that it caused. I would do that in a heartbeat. I don't even have to think about it. In a heartbeat, I would kill him. I would absolutely kill him. and I would kill him in a painful way.
Yeah. No, I get that.
You're muted,
Watching
Lorena.
CNN.
Crap, daggone it. Thank you, Teresa, for the 99-cent super chat, my dear. I so do appreciate that. Sorry, I muted myself earlier, but thank you. But no, I totally get it. I totally get it. If it was someone who, did something to like my nieces or nephews or something like that, it would be very tempting not to use it. Not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Not gonna lie.
Like the right answer, the socially correct answer is no, I would never do that. But the truth is that there are a few instances in my life where I would absolutely use it, and I would use it in a very vindictive, angry way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why I said I'm glad I don't have superpowers because I'd be a supervillain.
But that's like I told somebody, I said, you know what? It's only for the grace of God I wound up the way that I am because
Right?
I could have wound up being a freaking white collar criminal or mob boss or something.
See that? Anyone else could see Lorena being like a
No.
Oh my God.
I have to work with her. No.
I literally
Godmother.
see you sitting there stroking your cat, Lorena, like just
has a fez on it.
So, no, Eris, no.
Yeah.
You come to me asking me for a favor? What?
Eris trying to get put on that death note
me.
list.
my daughter's wedding.
You come to me on my daughter's wedding asking for a favor. Can I have that tiramisu? Granted.
I mean, and you'll never convince me because I think it's important to be realistic about these things. You'll never convince me that most people aren't the same, right? If you sit here and you told me you wouldn't do something like that, I'd call you a liar. I'll call you a liar.
You don't have to, but at the same time, that's in a way, it's power in itself. You can't automatically call them a liar. It depends on the persona, the person, and whether or not they were willing to take a life. Taking a life, no matter the end or the means, is still not.
I'm not saying that those people don't exist. I'm saying they're rare and they're few and they're far between. And yes, I'd call you a liar. And again, I'm not saying I'd call you a liar, Stephen. I'm saying you would have had to have walked a walk, not talk the talk, walked a walk that I would have observed personally for a long period of time, years on end, that told me a very specific story to the contrary for me to believe that you were not the type of person that would use it to personal ends.
But that it's not that. I'm talking about a certain circumstance. I have a belief that no one has the right to take a life.
I share that belief. I share that belief with you, Stephen. I share that belief with you wholeheartedly. I don't believe that any human being has the right to make another human being die. Period. I don't believe that. But I would still absolutely. I can think of 2 people that I would murder with a death note. I can think of 2, and they would fucking deserve it, and I would fucking do it. Because fuck them.
The Batman.
I will be back next week. I feel like I'm going to be on that death note.
Nah, you haven't done anything that bad,
Oh, not yet.
Eris is working on it with a fucking fez.
Hey, you know what? You know what I would do, though? I'm going to make a will. And if you kill me, I'm going to make sure that you're going to read like the eulogy and shit in a fez at my funeral. I'm going to do it. I'll have conditions. So you kill me.
Oh, Fez in a Shriner car. Fez in a Shriner car, please.
Man.
Fez in a Shriner car.
Yeah. So.
That is.
And you're going to make sure that the eulogy is written on a death note.
Oh God, prismatic.
It's like you don't want to kill me.
All right.
Here today, Fez tomorrow.
So you know what? Aiken said straight up, I'd use it to take out the trash.
The human trash? I mean, there's
some folks who would wholly feel that way. But so given the episodes that you've seen, like I stopped at around 19 just because life intervened, but I'm gonna catch up because I'm absolutely addicted to this anime. If you had to give it a rating on a scale from a 1 to 10, what would you give it?
9.5. Like, I don't give 10s because I don't believe in absolutes.
Oh, you're not sis. God damn it.
But you would call them a liar as an absolute, though, isn't it?
No objective statement.
Cork it, Steve!
What? I just contradicted your absolute. What the hell? I gotta do that.
I literally qualified that with, I'm sure there are
look
some
at my
people,
legs and look at this dress. I look fantastic.
It's
I'm not
haunting.
nothing.
That's fucking
It is.
haunting, Stephen.
Yeah,
That's
haunting. Yes,
traumatizing
haunting, yes.
to me.
Haunting, yes.
But like, no, like I said, I qualified that with, would I call you a liar? Yes, because the odds are you're a fucking liar, right? I said that, and I gave you the circumstances under which a person could convince me that that was not a lie.
Under the right circumcision, yes, I do agree.
Ew. So
God damn,
isn't saying you'll never give a 10 in absolutes. Yeah, but you know what? That's part of being, that's the wonderful hypocrisy that I can't avoid, right? And so I'd rather accept that one little hypocrisy than commit a million little ones, or commit a million of them. So you can nail me to the wall if you like. So I acknowledge it. But there are some paradoxes I simply don't know how to avoid. So I would give this a 9.5. I would say it is one of, if not my favorite anime that I've seen. It's a high bar, and it's honestly a relatively short anime in total. It's not that long, and I would encourage everybody. I think it's like 36 episodes is what it is.
37. How
37?
dare you?
Oh, 37.
Oh,
Okay.
no. My
I know
bad.
it's in the 30s. I knew that. I knew there's a definite end.
Go watch it. It is worth it. It's worth a night of binging. You will not regret it. And even if you can't watch the whole thing, watch to episode 25. I consider that the real ending anyway.
Yes.
Watch to episode 25. You will not regret it. This is something you will appreciate having seen. It is worth your time. It really is.
Well, thank you, Mary's pimped out ride for.
Oh my God.
Is that car?
Is that absolute?
Yes. This is number 2. He's my shadow, and he puts the stuff in my Discord. Mary, you need a new car? Look at this one. It's a steal.
Fezmobile. Every day we got it, guys.
No, don't say shit like that, because then he'll put a fez on it and put it in my fucking Discord.
Oh, someone put a pimped out fez right. A pimped out fez. Someone needs to be a pimped out fez.
You have to put bullet holes in the
Fucking
fez
hell.
too, so it matches the car.
There's a speed holes, Lorena. There's speed holes. We want to keep that alibi.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, speed
Simpsons
holes.
reference.
Okay. Thank you for that $1 super chat, my dear. I so appreciate that. Hey, Rogue Disney, good to see you. Says howdy, y'all. Howdy, y'all. Good seeing you. Well, Eris, what would you rate this on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd have to rate it probably an 8.5. And the only reason I give it that rating is I'm trying to include the entirety of the anime. And after the events that happened in episode 25, it kind of, you can tell that the writing hits a wall and starts to slide down. And it's just, you're kind of like, well, there's a couple events you're waiting for, because
there's a burger waiting for me.
I feel, and those I feel like you can kind of guess the ending of 2 characters that you can kind of guess by this point, Lorena. And it's just like, it feels empty. Like half the fascination is gone, and it's just it's like a chunk of the soul is missing. And so I would give it higher, but because I've seen the whole thing, and I know it ends satisfying. Like it has a satisfying ending, but it's drug out, I think, for about 5 episodes too long, in my opinion.
I tend to agree. It does drag a little longer than it should.
Yes. So if they would have cut it down 5 episodes, because there's important things that happen that you want to happen that happens after episode 25. But man, there's like padding, and you're kind of wondering, did they have like an episode limit? Is this what because I've never read the manga, so I don't know if that's how the manga was. But I'd give it an 8.5 as the entirety. Now, I've only watched up to this time around, like the middle of 20. But it's God,
Don't
it's like,
encourage her.
What? I'm missing all the good cats. I'm looking off. I'm focused, trying to like give good commentary, and I'm missing. I forgot about the Fez cat. I know. Hold on. Here you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Now I've never considered having two Z's. I don't know. Does that am I more powerful with two Z's?
I feel like there comes a point where what you're doing, Eris, is downright evil and diabolical. And I think you should go home and rethink your life. Okay.
This is
some bullshit.
I'm literally home. I'm in my bedroom right now.
Why do you do this to me? You're my brother, Anakin. I loved you.
That's okay. I'll be set on fire, and then I'll come back way cooler than I ever was before. So it's fine. It's all right. Don't worry about it.
Well,
that was a cooler joke in my head. Anyway, that's Steven. Would you like to please say me?
Yes. What was your rating, my dear?
What was my rating? Can you give me 1 quick second? I just have to fix something quickly.
He's going to poop in a Fez hat.
He's got to put a Fez.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm going to name it Mary. Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like a chamber pot. It's a chamber Fez.
It's the Fed's pot. Hello, Mary. I have come. What?
That Steven goes and takes care of some things.
I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now.
You ready now? Okay,
yeah,
go for it.
No, just I had to do it just for. Oh, come on, shit. There you go. Now I'm a Fez wearing a Fez. There we go.
Oh my god,
this is some bullshit.
That's funny. That's funny. That's
Deception. Oh my god.
It gets a 9, but like Mary says and our people says, you can't give an absolute, but it does get a +1 bonus outside of the 10 for the way the debate of conversation the show brings up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a wonderful conversation.
It's a Shinigami 1. Think about it that way. It's a Shinigami 1 with the 9 on the side.
No.
Look at my Fez. Look at it. Look at my Fez.
I don't have to.
It's Fez down. I can't breathe now. Pimped out ride is on me. I would like to say thank you, Uber Eats, for giving me a free shake that I didn't ask for. Oreo milkshake.
Hell yeah. Free Oreo milkshake?
I'm like, I hope the rest of the meal's mine. So it's all vegan. I'm out.
Just pour Crisco on it. It's fine.
I hate Crisco.
So what's your rating, my dear?
Me?
Yeah.
I said 9 plus the Shinigami 1 for the debate of discussion this type of series causes.
Okay, sorry, I was reading the chat.
It's okay. My Fez does lots of good things.
Fezes are cool. Fezes are cool.
What did you do? What did you brainwash all these people, Eris? Why? You stop and be fucking honest with yourself for a second.
It's not chips. They gave me someone else's meal. Totally. I have a poutine in here. I got a chicken burger in here. I got a bacon burger in here. I got poutine. I didn't order this. I'll take it.
God, that sounds like a heart attack ready for you right there.
All I'm saying is Fezes are fucking stupid. Look deep inside yourself and you know it's fucking true.
Chat. Can we get some violins in the chat? The smallest song ever right now.
You're fucking dumb.
Mercy. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm dumb and a liar. Oh my god.
Chesticle studying Rebecca Try. For me, right now I would give it about a 9. Okay, because I'm not done. I'm not done watching it yet. I love how it's written, invested right from the beginning. It's not preaching to me. It gives you that paradox. What if you had that kind of power? Could you resist it? And if you didn't resist it, how does that change you? So I'm loving it. The animation style fits perfectly with the tone of how this is, and it brings up some very, very interesting situations. So I liked it. Again, I got to finish watching the rest of it.
Definitely.
My Hero Academia is still my favorite anime. However, this one's very close.
Nice.
This one's a very close second.
Oh my girl, yes, queen.
So I got to see what happens with 25, because somehow it's kind of like when I had to watch season 8 of Game of Thrones to see what happened. So it's
it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Oh, it's not that bad. Not
it's
even close.
it's interesting because Mary's like, okay, kind of like at 25 is where it could have ended. So I'm trying to
Yeah.
see if I get to that point and see where, okay, well that's where
It would actually be a very, like, depending on your perspective, because you may either be super satisfied with it or be like, this is bullshit. Right. So
I'm on team that'd be bullshit. Like I really love how it ends. It's just like I get it. I get the philosophy and I get everything, but it's like it just absolute power corrupts absolutely. What can I tell you? Like
I agree.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Did you guys hear about the spinoff they're doing?
What spinoff?
Yeah, it's called Death Fez.
Fuck out of here.
You were Fez, yeah, the power of death. Yes. Thank you.
Steven, I want you to know that when my hair goes fucking gray and it's all white and shit, I'm blaming you. I'm coming to your I'm gonna fucking kill this man. Where's my death note? Where's my fucking death note?
Do I at least get some credit?
It's in the bathroom, right beside the plunger. There's your death note right there.
Some horse shit.
Oh man! Well, this was just flipping awesome. It's such a great choice. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I don't know who's up next.
I am. Actually.
You're up next. What are we watching, Fasty?
We're doing Space Dandy.
I knew that.
Yeah,
huh, I never seen that.
I knew that, and I'm actually
same director
looking
as
forward
Cowboy.
to it.
The same it's 2 seasons. They're not that long, but it's done by the same director of Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, that's not a selling point for me. So.
Not the Netflix
Not
crap.
for me either. Shit.
Okay, picture.
No, Mary
picture,
and I both
picture,
hated.
Okay, picture
But-
Cowboy Bebop, but the total opposite. This is literally a bounty hunter in space.
Oh, good. Okay, so it's good. Excellent.
Picture the total opposite. Okay, you know
My
that.
man.
All right, you know that avatar. Wait, where's the? You know the avatar I use that has like
The pompadour.
Pompadour. That's also like my emoji. Yeah.
The trailer is freaking hysterical. I was in tears.
Oh my! Oh, here, hold on. I gotta get the Space Dandy trailer. We can do that right now. Hold on.
Right. So is this like in seasons? Are we watching a season? What are we watching?
It's short
How
enough to
long
watch
is it?
both. They're like not even full crazy long seasons.
10 episodes apiece, basically. Is that what you're
I
saying?
will find out in a second. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think it's really long, if I remember from what.
You have enough
that
time to
season
go
said.
through it.
26 episodes in total. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
That's not
that's
bad.
good.
Yeah, we can do the whole thing.
That's
Yeah.
good.
But,
All right, y'all. So
hold
next
on.
next anime we're doing is Space Dandy.
I've been waiting since the show started.
I know. He's
Yay.
just like, Space Dandy, pick Space Dandy.
Fucking gay.
I had it shared for you.
Oh, thank you, Mark Spin of 117B for $2. Thank you so much. Manga has a chapter where Trump gets the Death Note.
I
What?
love
Are
it.
you for real? Really?
Well, anime is from 2003 and it's based on the manga, so
I gotta find
and I'm
that.
confused.
I gotta find that.
No.
I'm gonna go
believe
look that
Yeah.
sucker up. I'm not kidding. This will definitely go on my list. And hey, Damajanai, thank you
Hey.
so much for the $2
Hello.
super
How you
chat.
doing?
It says hello, beautiful people.
I'm excited. If I remember correctly, tomorrow we're celebrating Demonjanai's birthday for
Yes.
Will you be
our
awake?
council. I'm going to be around for that.
Who's
Right.
the one tasing Demonjanai to stay awake during that? Anyone?
Me. I'm going to do it.
I still remember him sleeping and snoring. I remember.
He was hard working, so you know.
I
You know.
do have the trailer right there for you, just in case.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Demonjanai. I appreciate that, my dear. Oh, yes, Demonjanai. Dark Council tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. on Demonjanai's channel, celebrating his birthday. So please do be there. Please do be there.
Oh my god, it's real. Oh my god, it's real. I'm putting this in the private chat. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I had to get confirmation.
No.
He's a
Are you ready?
Yeah.
No.
Let's do this.
dandy
Let's do
guy
this.
in space. Planet after planet he searches, discovering bizarre new creatures, both friendly and not.
It's very colorful.
It's also fantastic because that guy that you're hearing monologuing does it from every episode, and the zombie episode was great, and the ramen episode's great too. I'm trying not to get claimed, so I'm trying to talk over it.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm really trying not to.
Is he gay? Is he like super, super gay or whatever? Why they call him Dandy?
To live for, baby. Oh yeah.
That's just his name.
Yeah. Oh my
You got a
god.
sweet ride. I know that much.
He looks like Elvis. Why does he look like Elvis?
He does.
The galaxy like his pompadour on the hunt for aliens. These are the spectacular adventures of Space Dandy and his brave space crew in space.
That just looks crazy.
Looks like it's time to go.
Yes.
Good
I love this show.
I can't
love
wait
this
to
show.
see that.
I love this show. I love this show so much.
Okay.
Oh
Think
my
Johnny
gosh.
Bravo in
There
space.
is-
Okay, that's all you needed to say. Thanks.
Am I the only person offended by Fat Steven desecrating Misa like that?
Hey, you guys called her crazy, okay? I'm just now
yeah.
crazy with the
Okay.
go too.
I understand where it comes from, but
I'm so offended right now.
Really,
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
actually strangely okay with it. I don't know why.
I'm
As long as you cover
offended.
my face, you're okay. I'm offended by how you called me a liar, but I'm not going into detail about it.
Wait a minute. As a joke, Trump buys a Death Note and throws it in a vault to keep China from getting
No, I'm
it.
serious. I put it in the private chat. That's the fandom, like
China.
Wikipedia page. Yeah.
I would just like to
China.
point out that it wouldn't be a proper episode if I didn't get into a verbal altercation with Fat Steven.
Well, it does make sense.
No.
What was it? The second episode, she tried to get me kicked off. The next episode after, you remember that one? It's like, hey, we can just replace Fat Steven.
Pattern.
Well, thanks
We
for
don't
coming,
need
Mary.
Fat
You're a great
Steven for
guest.
this shit.
What the
Oh man,
hell?
that's
Hey,
I
come
want
for
to
the
assure
ladies.
everybody in real life, I just play a bitch on TV. In real life, I'm very nice, I swear. No, there's no hard feelings.
Your
between
victims
Fat
are
Steven.
begged to differ,
Grace
though.
Brothers too. Shoot, I still gotta finish up JoJo's Bizarre Adventures.
I can't anymore. I did though finish Black
I-
Clover. So good.
I have to finish because supposedly one of the episodes of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures actually has a Jodeci track in it.
Bananas.
Thank you, Sherry. See, look, Sherry's
I
attracted to it.
have just on that alone, I have to find that episode. Supposedly it's Freaking You by Jodeci, so I have to see that for myself, see if it's true.
Space Dandy.
Oh, okay. I like
love
Johnny
Star
Bravo.
plus
so
an
that's-
Olympic pool's worth of acid and a pinch of XL.
Yeah.
Okay, it figures. Fat Steven would pick a piece
Okay.
of shit like that.
It sounds like the Fez is angry.
Oh, okay. I got it. Liz. I got it.
Yeah.
Liz. Let's
I
see.
don't know why
Okay,
the other
I-
one. It's dedicated to a whole page, and then it's like the page got wiped. I don't understand. I
Oh
don't know.
Lord.
like
Okay,
slander.
this is freaking funny. I gotta share this. Is hilarious. Donald Trump buys the Death Note for 10 trillion and latest one shot.
What the actual
Wow.
fuck?
Yes, it's
Hmm.
real. Thank you,
Buys the
person.
Death Note. So it's just
Wow.
like it's a supplemental.
I don't. Well, this doesn't work for me because Ryuk doesn't give a fuck about money.
He just wants apples.
Yeah,
He gave him $2 million
if you
in
give him a trillion
apples.
apples, yeah.
He went in
Yeah.
a withdrawal when he didn't
What's
have
the
any
word?
apples. That was
Juicy?
crazy.
Yeah.
Shaking like a
They're doing
crack
cartwheels
addict.
and
They're
shit.
they're absolutely his crack. Like they're absolutely his crack. Like I love the way he put what's the word? Juicy? Like he's just so obsessed with these things. It's very funny. It's very funny. Ryuk alone is worth the watch. Okay, just his weird little mannerisms. He's very endearing. He's terrifying to look at, but he's very endearing as a character.
He doesn't blink, which I think is very, very cool.
And his
actually.
eyes often stare in the opposite direction.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
fucking weird. It's just it just adds another layer to the
Visually-
Shinigami. It's crazy. Whoever came up with that idea, I don't know how much crack you smoked or how much coke you snorted, but that was freaking great. I'm just saying.
You know what I just realized he looks like? Visually, he is like akin, not exactly, obviously, but he is akin to the movie version of Stephen King's It.
Ooh.
Like there are some serious
Yeah.
similarities.
The shoulders, particularly, like the body, the shape of the body is especially
The
when he's in
teeth, the way the
Pennywise.
teeth are completely
Mhm.
jagged, and the way that the eyes don't quite focus right, and sometimes look in weird directions. Like there's some serious like similarities visually between the two of them. The white skin.
All white skin.
Oh yes, the peak form of evil white skin.
I love.
Are you coming after
I love how.
Canadians now too? What is this shit?
I love how it's not a show unless Fat Steven insinuates some racist against myself.
I'm Canadian. I'm pasty as hell. Of course, I thought I'm going to Canadian. It's not racist shit. Is that white person making fun of another white person? Oh god damn, what's wrong with this one?
That used to be okay.
I still think jokes are illegal. Sorry, my bad.
Hey, they're CNN. What you saw with the other one, they're trying to get memes illegal now too. Like it hurts people's feelings. No,
The
you don't
UK
have a
already
sense of
tried
humor.
doing that. They failed.
Thank you, Cavatano. Okay, thank you. I was trying to. I'm like, I just picked up on 11B, so thank you for reminding me of that. Oh my gosh! As usual, it's always short. I love doing these anime streams because I just freaking love anime. I love. It's nice to be in something that's like, wow, I'm not being freaking insulted. This is, this.
No,
is
I was
great
the whole
stuff.
time. It was great. It was like
That's a normal
fantastic.
stream, Fat Steven.
Well, I tell you, Fat Steven, why don't you go first? Tell the folks where they can find you and what you have coming up.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Okay.
That's the way it works here.
Eris, tell the people where they can find you and what you have coming up on your channel, my dear.
Let's see. I'm Eris Chaos. You can find me on my YouTube channel. Type it in. Look for Golden Apple. You know the drill, people. And then on Twitter, you can go follow me on that. Let's see. Things I have going on. Well, tomorrow, I mean, everyone except for Fat Steven here is on the Babedom Menace. So,
yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
And no amount of violating Misa's pictures will get you on there, Fat Steven.
Violating the pictures.
Changing your pronouns to she, her doesn't work. So, yeah, sorry. So I got that. That's tomorrow.
Yep.
Let me see.
No Coke
Saturday
on the Babedom Menace.
Saturday, we've permanently changed the time to 12 p.m. CST for Arwen. So that is what I have going. I don't know what we're covering. I waited until 9 p.m. Friday.
Dedicated to pheasants.
I don't know. I think that's it. Unless there's something I haven't written down on my calendar, which is entirely plausible. Whatever. Anyway, go.
Yes, folks, please do subscribe to Eris of Chaos. I have her link down there in the description because we gotta get this girl monetized. So tell your friends, subscribe, and tell your friends.
Yes.
Do we though? Do we?
Fuck you, Fat Steven. I was there cheering you on when you didn't monetize. Fuck
Oh, come
you.
on. It's been a year and you've had months of me not on your ass, so it's been pretty good. She does need demonetized.
Yes, she does. Mary, my dear, tell the folks where they can find you. What you got coming up?
Well, hi guys, Mary B, Mistress of Mayhem, Disruptor of the Narrative, and official Lemon card holder. You can find me over on World Class Bullshitters tonight for the High Council, as well as Jesse Milestone's birthday stream tomorrow. You can find me over on Babedom Menace, of course, with the ladies. For a little bit, you'll find me over on the Dark Council celebrating Demonjani's birthday, and then of course Wednesday Night Mayhem. Although I may push that back by half an hour tomorrow, just to kind of leave room for Demonjani's birthday and all of that jazz. And then of course, I'm over on Twitch, gaming it up over there. The end of the Fortnite season is fast approaching, so we'll be paying close attention to those events. And
I'll be covering it.
Oh, will you? It's gonna be fun. We should do something together.
Well, I have a quick writer. The sad part is we already have the team built because supposedly it's only going to be a 4-person thing. I do apologize in advance because it's only supposed to be 15 minutes long. It's supposed to be about a 50-minute long thing, but it might not.
It's all right. I've always taken on-air rejection really well, so don't worry about it.
I'm already on that.
God damn, that Steven, that was rude.
Wow. Damn.
Okay. Yeah, I'm doing that thing too,
they literally said it's a 4-person event, so you can only have 3 other people in your squad to do the stream.
No, it's cool. It's cool. I already, it's fine.
Now she's
Come on.
another plan.
I'm sorry, I've been shit on all day. What is this shit?
Get shit on Whammon. It's 2021.
Why don't you put your face up and cough for me here?
Well,
No,
man, Steven, why don't you tell folks what you got going on?
Well, I will be investing in riot armor and a bigger wall to keep Mary out of Canada. After that, I will be. I'll probably be on Twitch doing Borderlands radio, or I'll be on YouTube doing some Borderlands, or I'm not touching Battlefield till they fix that crap. We just finished up our interview. If you didn't catch it, Patricia Tallman joined us yesterday. It was a great interview. She was an actress on Babylon 5. Great show, great fun. Pretty much gaming, pop culture minefield with the Reina lunch table every Friday. Sometimes I will come back on Welcome to Florida, and yeah, it's just find me on Twitch, find me on YouTube, find me at Weight Watchers.
Weight Watchers, fuck off.
Whatever.
But I have no problem doing a
Walmart.
collab in the future, Mary. I have no problem doing that.
Maybe we'll do it for the season opening instead. We'll see.
Okay. It's going to be down for 2 days.
Officer,
After the-
no, it's not.
It's a new island. They're destroying the island. Yes.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god.
Mario Kart.
God, y'all are trip. But yes, I'm Lorena Creole, and thank you guys so much for hanging out with us.
Oh
So
my
appreciate
God.
that. Please hit the like and share the stream out. Of course, let's see, tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern, the Babedom Menace will be right here on my channel. We're going to be talking some crazy Christmas clown world stuff and having a great time. So please join me on my channel for that tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. Also, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Lord Commander Damaj and I's channel. The Dark Council will convene to celebrate his birthday. So please do come over there for that. Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern on my channel. Yes, we're disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah, that was not a Freudian slip, actually. Episode 3 of season 1 of Hawkeye. And yes, the actor who plays Enrique of the Tracksuit Mafia, Carlos Navarro, will be joining us for that stream. So definitely come out, show your Tracksuit Mafia love. It's going to be great. He's looking forward to being on, and we are looking forward to having him. And of course, Friday, 12 p.m., lunch table, just doing some pop culture roundup type of stuff. And I may be streaming live on Saturday from St. Augustine, Florida. So stay tuned. I'm going to take you to some ancestral places that are there. So like Denny's. Like the Cracker Cafe, actually. That's actually, but you always throw me off. Daggone it.
Come on, Patricia Tallman is a fan. I even showed you that. She has the coloring book, the Jason Momoa coloring book. That's the picture I sent you. There is a Jason Momoa coloring book. Yes. Yes, that was Patricia Tallman holding the Jason Momoa coloring book. Yes, it exists.
See, I know that's why I've loved Patricia for years. She had the same taste. But that Jason Momoa coloring book, yes, it shall be.
Hey, my eyes are up here. Stop staring at my nips.
Yeah, I'm gonna be staring at it.
Sorry, Betsy.
Well, folks, thank you so much for joining us. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for watching the replays. For the
relay. Looking at that Momoa.
I know he makes me all. Lord, he makes me tongue tied. I will not apologize.